This is it. It's crunch time. We're 5 points clear inside of the playoffs, but we do have 3 games left to play. We should be able to secure ourselves a spot across the next 2 games, the first of which is against Dartford, our local rivals, in 24th. Could you imagine securing a promotion spot and relegating your local rivals on the same day? It doesn't get much better than this. What's happening, guys? Hello and welcome to Season 3, Episode 12 of Unknown to Icon. Potentially the last episode of this season, but I don't think so. If we don't manage to secure ourselves a playoff spot in this episode, we'll obviously just move across to the next season. But if we do, we're going to have some more episodes for the playoffs. As you can see, currently we are sat in 6th spot on 68 points. Tonbridge below us on 66. And the next team that are outside of the playoff spots are Bath. And they are on 63 points. So we're 5 points clear of those guys. If we can manage to maintain that and stay in the playoffs, we'll be very happy. To top that off, as I said previously, Dartford, all the way down here, their relegation's pretty much confirmed already, although it is possible for them to move out of it. A spot outside of the relegation zone is 44 points, so 1 win for them could put themselves outside of that, or 2 wins based on their goal difference. But what a good way it would be to finish up the season. Get ourselves into a playoff spot and relegate our local rivals. You can't ask for much more. There's obviously been quite a lot of games since the last time that you were with me, so we'll have a quick look at the results and some of the goals. We won't probably go through all of them, and then we're going to be playing 2 games today, Dartford and Farnborough. To be totally honest with you, if we don't manage to secure ourselves a playoff spot, we'll probably play the final game of the season as well, which is Slough. If that's to be the case, that's to be the case. And I will be very furious during that Slough game. However, I think we're going to be just fine. Let's have a little look at the results. Alright, so there have been plenty of games played. I believe the last game that we played on camera was Oxford City, where we did lose 1-0. Since then, we have been on a cracker turn of form. 4-2 against Maidenhead, 2-1 against Dover, 2-0 against Weymouth, 4-2 against Havant and Waterlooville. We did draw 1-1 with Dulwich Hamlet, which I was quite disappointed with that result. We then got absolutely battered by Truro, who I believe are on quite a bit of an unbeaten run at the moment. And then we did bring back our winning form, 2-1 against Enfield Town, 2-0 against Eastbourne Borough, and 2-1 against Worthing. We'll just have a look at a couple of the games quickly and just show you some of the goals. First one, our turn of form, Maidenhead. So as you can see, we had some great performances along the way. 8.6 from Charlie Hughes, 8.1 from Ryan McLean. Obviously, Dawes came in and played on the right wing for the first time, as opposed to Osborne, and had a 7.8. He has not been very good off the left, but he's done all right there on the right. Bogle Campbell's still been an absolute beast. He has been attempted to be poached from me a couple of times now, through obviously free transfer offers, because he is on a non-contract. I don't have any money to be able to offer him a contract, or I would have, believe me. But 7.7 again from him, and then the majority of our backline, with Connor Roberts filling in for Jake Grant, has been on a 7.5, which was also a great result for him. Let's have a quick look at these goals in this very tight game. 14 shots each, 6 on target from them, 8 on target from us, and we did control the possession massively at 64%. Lovely job. First goal then. Taylor with the throw-in at to Ryan McLean. Thought he was going to get tackled there, but he didn't. Absolutely skins 2 of his men. And then Charlie Hughes, back post, somehow manages to jump over the top of Beckwith and slots it into the goal beautifully. Then their response came. A Sayre into the box, goal in. I think Connor Roberts should have done better there, but by the end of the game, his performance was solid, so you can't really complain. Here's Connor Roberts again at to Lapsley. What a beast of a captain he's been, by the way. Oh, that is something that I forgot to mention just while we're watching these goals. Taylor Maloney has left the club. He had a bit of a whinge about his playing time, even though he's on a fringe player contract. And I just thought, on a non-contract, I may as well just let him go. I can't be arsed with him, being a bit grumpy and having a whinge at me all the time. So we just moved him on, as we don't intend to use him. So Lapsley is now the full-time captain, and I believe it's Ethan Walsall is now our vice captain. And that was a lovely goal there from McLean as well. And then this one here, Bogle Campbell back to Baldwin. Lovely cross all the way up to Dawes, and just slots it across for Hughes to just get himself a tap-in for, I believe, his second goal of the game. Lovely result there. Some great goals from the team. Let's move on to the next result that we want to have a look at. The Dover one was an interesting game, actually. Joe Wesley finally broke his goal drought with a couple of crackers. As you can see here, 8.1 from him, 7.4 from Hughes. Again, Bogle Campbell, 7.4 again. Jake Grant made his return. He's been a bit wishy-washy in terms of his fitness. He can't seem to stay fit. He gets fit, plays a game, and then he's out for probably 2 or 3 games, which I didn't think was going to be the case considering he's got a broken wrist, and that shouldn't really affect him playing considering we paid all that money to put the protective equipment on his arm. But again, another tight game. 12 shots for each of us. Obviously, we had 5 on target. They had 4, and we only just scraped the possession with 58%. So, decent game. Lots of yellow cards, as you can see, especially for their team there. But let's have a quick look at the goals from Joe Wesley. Started off by Bolden, then into Bogle Campbell. Lovely ball over the top. Somehow, just Joe Wesley all of a sudden finds a turn of pace, gets there and slots it in. Lovely for the first one. And that ball over the top there, I thought it was going to Wesley and he was going to be offside, but Hughes manages to keep it up and just tucks it into Wesley's toes. And then he just smashes it into the top right-hand corner. 2 cracking goals for us. And then, unfortunately, we did concede. Maybe we're going to bottle it a little bit here. And I was a bit disappointed to concede a goal there, but brilliant goal from them. And then this Weymouth game was another decent game. Very enjoyable to watch. Obviously, they dominated, to be perfectly honest with you. 15 shots they had compared to our 6. However, we had more of the possession and we just completely shut them out of the back. Ethan Walsall with an 8.1 performance at centre-back. Wells filling in as well there, and he was on a 7.2, and Miles Roberts on a 7.4. 15 shots and only 1 on target. We were defensively solid in this game against Weymouth, and we managed to sneak in 4 on target out of our 6 shots and got ourselves a couple of goals. Let's have a quick watch of these as well. First one, Walsall. A rock at the back and an absolute rocket of a free kick from him. What a day he had. Osborne sprinting up the wing for the second goal, tucks it across into the box, and McLean manages to get there in his head. Both wingers combining and in off the post. Goalkeeper did as much as he could, but that secured our victory there. Absolutely terrible performance from our strikers. But if we're winning games when we're not performing that well, that's, you know, the signs of a title-winning side. We're not winning any titles this year, obviously, which is a shame. Because up until this point, we've won a title or a cup of some sort every season that we've played. On to the final game that we're going to have a look at. Obviously, these were the results. Obviously, we went through. I'm not going to show the absolute battering that we got against Truro, but we are going to show the most recent game here against Worthing. Obviously, this will give you an indication of our latest form coming into this game here against Dartford. But Hughes 7.1, Osborne 7.6. He's now broken the record for the league's most man of the matches. And then, obviously, you know, some great performances through the middle. Lapsley 7.2, Walsall 7.2, Roberts still on a 7. For a young goalkeeper, he is very, very consistent. He's had a couple of terrible games, but I can't really bag him for that when he's been so consistent for the rest of the season. 16 shots, 8 on target in comparison to their 8 shots and 4 on target. 53% of the possession, so only just sneaked the possession there. But what a game for us, obviously, with a 2-1 win. Let's watch the goals. And it was much tighter than I'd liked. Ball up there, Jack Connor manages to get himself in a lovely position and reserve it from the keeper. Hughes across to Osborne, and that is a fantastic goal. Comes off of the post, or off of the top corner of the post and then in. Then we did concede, and I thought, we were just Fogarty there. What's the story, man? That defending's so poor. Silly goal to give away. Captain Lapsley takes the ball, pops it over the top. Joe Wesley, lovely, takes it down and just tucks it underneath the keeper, straight into that bottom right-hand corner. Fantastic result for us, even if we didn't actually play all that well in terms of the game plan that we like to use. That being said, today's game against Dartford is huge. Dartford and Farnborough, definite games that we're going to show today, because 2 wins here completely secures us into a playoff spot. But 2 poor results here, or maybe even 1 poor result here, and it could come down to the very last game of the season. If that happens, we'll show all 3 games, but the plan at the moment is to show these 2 and then any playoff games that we have. This is the lineup for today then. So let's start off. Obviously, we've got Miles Roberts in goal. Baldwin has come in to replace Connor Roberts here. He's a little bit tired after the last game, and I'm not quite sure why he is, because it's only him and Ethan Walsall that are, but that's the way it's kind of worked out. So Baldwin slots into here. Not too bad of a time to rotate against 24th in the league, although it is a rivalry game, so still very, very important to us as a club and the fans. Obviously, Grant and Wells making up our centre-back pairing there, because Ethan Walsall's obviously not quite fit enough, and then Joel Taylor at left-back. Lapsley and Bogle Campbell have become our definitive central midfield pair, so they're in as usual. McLean and Osborne occupying their usual roles, and then up top we've got Hughes and Wesley. After scoring a goal, Wesley is on a decent run of form, and in his last 5 games has achieved an average 7.2 in comparison to Jack Connor, who's a 7.14, and hasn't been performing as well as he should have, considering that he's been our majority of the time starting striker up top with Hughes. He's on 11 goals, and Joe Wesley, who's had goal droughts all over the place, is on 9. So let's rock it today with Hughes and Wesley, who are obviously 24 and 9 goals respectively. Into the game we go. All right, we're in. Rivalry game. Very, very important match. Obviously, if we lose this game and Bath win their game, we're level on points. We will still be in the playoff zone based on goal difference at that point in time. But then a further loss against Farnborough could leave us out of the playoffs altogether, which we obviously don't want, considering the turnaround of form that we've had across the course of this season, and certainly in recent times what we've done to get ourselves back into the playoffs after being near enough mid-table at the end of the last episode. So let's get into this game and hopefully tuck away a few goals against local rivals and confirm them being sent out of the league. That would be great. Them getting relegated into non-playable leagues and us getting a promotion, potentially, if we manage to do something crazy in the playoffs, to the National League. Unreal. Joel Taylor then at left back. Holds up the ball quite nicely, passes it back to Grant. I love this. This is the possession tactic that I'm talking about. These long balls are a bit wild. There's way too many of them for the tactic that I'm playing at the moment. But I've got to be honest, it's just worked there. Oh, that's fantastic. If Charlie Hughes is onside, that is a great team goal. He is. There's no call from the referee, no flag. Ball over the top to Wesley. Thought it was going to be a bit too far. He absolutely turns and drops his man to the ground. Broken ankles all over the place. Lapsley with a lovely ball up to Hughes. Comes off of the crossbar and then manages to get the second touch on it to just tuck it into the goal. Lovely, lovely stuff there for us at the start. Don't like it when it goes immediately to another highlight. We did get warned about making sure we kept an eye on Gutierrez Ramirez. What a name that lad's got. And here we are again, another highlight potentially for Dartford. Shot obviously off target for them previously. Bramble through to Faroukson. Held up, I thought, by Hughes, but somehow they've got the ball back. Paxman's in. That could be a penalty there. Thankfully for us, it's not. Free opportunity for their striker to get his head on the ball, but unfortunately for them, it does go wide of the post. Not the dominant performance I was looking for, considering these guys have actually had more opportunities in terms of shots, I was going to say on goal, but in terms of shots that we've had. Bogle Campbell, lovely ball through to Wesley. Oh, it's off the post. It's off the crossbar again, isn't it? And it does go out for a corner for us, so it's not all bad news, but God, we would have loved to tuck that one away. That might have put the game to bed early doors, even though that they technically have been the more attacking team. Grant heads the ball back into the box. I would have preferred him to head the ball out to a player on the edge of the box, and then we sort of maintain possession, which ended up working like that. Here we go. Osborne, free kick in. Grant's there with the header, and it's headed off the line by Bramble, I think that was. McLean back out to Osborne. Tried for a low cross across the box into the players, but no joy getting the ball through. Grant, big ball forward up towards Wesley, who is on a yellow card. We'll need to keep an eye on that situation. 10 men would not be. Oh, and it's through to Gutierrez Ramirez. That Cargbo, Gutierrez Ramirez and Cargbo, they've been all over it. We're not doing badly, and obviously we're in the lead, but this is a very even game. On possession, it's not, but in terms of actual attacking opportunities, very even. XG, we're absolutely flying, though, which is good to see. But as you can see, they've had more shots than we have. Same amount of target, but we could do a little bit better. Let's get into the second half. To be honest with you, I am going to make an early change here. Joe Wesley on a 6.3 and a yellow card. That's not good enough. So we are going to bring Jack Connor on. Osborne, ball forward, very central free kick. Lovely tackle there. Unfortunately, it does go straight to Cargbo. And he's on a bit of a tear. Lovely stop by Baldwin. It's always good when you see your lone players picking up the pieces when you don't have that starting player available. He didn't look like maybe he was going to be the best of players, but he's actually performed relatively well when he's on the pitch. So it's good to see. And that does come off Bogle Campbell. It goes outside for a corner. Don't concede here on the corner. Lovely header out. I think that might have even been from Jack Connor. Lovely. Good idea. We brought the 6'2" man on. Ball back in. Cargbo's there again. Another free header. And he's got the jumping reach. He wins every single header, but he's got a head like a 50p piece. Could go literally anywhere when it touches his forehead. We have got a bit of a concern here in terms of fitness for Jake Grant. We'll probably want to sub him off soon, although he is on a 7.1, so he's our best performing defender. Ben Wells obviously considerably behind him and now on a yellow card. Corner in from Wells. Speak of the devil. Straight to the goalkeeper. No luck there. Could be time for some changes soon. 67 minutes on the clock. Big ball forward from Dartford, only as far as Baldwin, who slots it over to Boggle Campbell. Hold up play on the wing, nice to see. Baldwin with a lovely ball forward towards Hughes, who isn't able to win the header. Don't know what's going on with Boggle Campbell there. He looked like he was sniffing the player's bum as opposed to trying to win the header. Lapsley, the captain, leader, legend. Jack Connor with a lovely header forward to Charlie Hughes, who does score the second goal of the game. Off the crossbar again. We just love almost skying it today, but that's a lovely goal. The captain, leader, legend takes it back to Ben Wells. Lovely ball up top. That is a great ball from Ben Wells. Nodded on by Jack Connor, and then Hughes takes what could potentially have been seen as an unnecessary touch up in the air. Player almost takes it off him, but then does bang it into the top of the goal. Lovely stuff. Corner again for us. We're on the attack once more. Only as far as Roddy, who heads it clear. McLean on the opposite wing to where he normally is. Slots it across, and that's Charlie Hughes. Is that his hat-trick? It is! Lovely stuff. Hat-trick for Charlie Hughes. He's been an absolute goal-scoring machine. An absolute machine. That's 27 goals for the season for him. Considering at the very start of the season, embarrassingly enough for me, I said we're probably going to move him on because he's an old boy and I would probably rather play with Jack Connor and Wesley. Yeah, that's his name. Completely forgot who my rotational striker was there. Jack Connor, lovely tackle. Gets tackled off the ball again, but Lapsley picks up the pieces. Grant out to Taylor. Ball forward. It's probably time to make some changes now. It's 70-minute mark with some tired players on the field. Paxman picks it up through to Bremang. Thankfully, wide of the post. This might be Dartford's problem. They've got a terrible goal difference. It could be because of the fact that they have absolutely no idea how to hit the back of the net. You watch, they'll score 3 goals now and win the game. All right, so a couple of changes there towards the end. We have brought Connor Roberts on to replace Jake Grant, who was tired as all hell. And then we have brought Lapsley off for Taylor Hart, who's also been playing very well when he makes an appearance for us. Could have been an argument to bring off Boggle Campbell because he's also tired. That is a lovely through ball to McLean. Oh, he can't finish it. It's headed off the line. Osborne heads the ball back into the box, but it's only defenders there to see it. Hart chests it down to Boggle Campbell, tries to find Osborne, but unfortunately picked up by Roddy and smashed all the way back down to our defensive end. Throw in there, Roddy to Essam. Another big ball forward. So many balls forward. So many balls forward in non-league. That's a lovely pass. Oh, off the post. Charlie Hughes tries to put it across the goal. Can't tell whether that was a shot or a cross. Nobody there. We'll say it was a cross to try and not diminish his performance from today. He's been very, very good so far. Looks like Hart's picked up a knock and is off of the field. That's not looking good considering we've only just brought him on. Ball forward to Jack Connor. He's not going to outrun Bramble, who does take the ball off him and harness their goalkeeper. Big, big ball forward. Drops lovely to the feet of Joel Taylor. Back to Ben Wells. Let's just see out the game, boys. We've got 2 minutes left. Lovely ball forward to Jack Connor. Oh, that is fat. Oh, no, he's offside. I thought that was 4-0. I thought that was 4-0. This has been, although it didn't start off looking that way, it looked like it was going to be a very tight game. A 3-0 win against Dartford. That pretty much with a 10 performance for Hughes for his hat-trick. Unbelievable stuff. I think that might have been the first 10 that we've had at Ebbsfleet. Maybe even in the whole Unknown to Icon series so far. But lovely job. 3 goals from him. An assist for Jack Connor. An assist for Ryan McLean. All looking good right now. And that all but confirms, I would say, Dartford being out of the league. And potentially us in the playoffs. It does indeed. Look at that. That is lovely stuff. So we are in 6th inside of the playoffs with 71 points. Closest to us is Dover. Bath obviously lost their game by the look of it. So they were on 63 points. And the next highest is now Dover on 64 points. So it is mathematically impossible for them to knock us out of a playoff spot. We're going to the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. Right, line up for the next game for today then against Farnborough. Kind of a bit pointless showing this one, obviously, as we secured our playoff spot already. But look, at the end of the day, always good to see more games and more goals. If we get another hat-trick today from Charlie Hughes, that'll put him on 30 goals for the season with a game spare. So maybe he won't play the last game of the season, but we'll see how we go. Miles Roberts obviously in goal, pretty much the same side as we put out last time, just a couple of changes. Taylor in at left back, Walsall and Grant making up our centre back pair, both back and fully fit. Connor Roberts does secure that right back spot with Lapsley, Boggle Campbell through the middle, McLean and Osborne, and up top Charlie Hughes and Jack Connor today give him a little run out and put Joe Wesley back on the bench. You can obviously look at it that there's two ways that this could go, you know. I mean, we're either going to still turn up as a team that are massively confident after securing themselves playoff position, considering the fact that we were in the relegation zone when we took over the job, literally 10 games into the start of this season. You'd like to think that the boys would still have a bit of oomph about them and still want to keep going. There is obviously also the chance that everybody just all of a sudden goes, well, we've got nothing to play for, we may as well reserve ourselves for the playoff games. And I may even play some rotational options for that last game of the season. That is horrendous. Oh no. A potential lower leg injury for probably our star player over the year just before the playoffs. The fans are going to be furious if he's got a long-term injury. They'll be screaming at me saying, you should have not played him. We'd already secured a playoff spot. Why on earth did you play Sam Osborne? Connor Roberts does manage to hook the ball away from their attacker there. As far as Will Dawes, I cannot believe that Sam Osborne's picked up an injury 4 minutes into the game. Potential lower leg injury, straight red injury and off the pitch. That is not good for us in any way, shape or form. The only saving grace to this is if it isn't as bad as it looks originally, we'll be fine. But if we go into the playoffs, don't get me wrong, the playoffs are going to be very, very tough for us to even have a chance to secure a promotion anyway. But if we go into the playoffs with Ryan McLean and Will Dawes as our starting wingers and our bench option is Hussein, we are in serious trouble. Serious trouble. All right, heading into the second half then. Not much has really happened in the first half, apart from our star player getting a serious injury and having to come off. Jake Grant is looking a little bit tired, so we probably will bring him off because we obviously don't want to overstretch him and injure him as well. That would be terrible. And Jack Connor on a 6.3, potentially looking like he needs to come off. I would say that Ryan McLean needs to come off on a 6.4 as well, considering the wings is where we obviously create a lot of our attacking options. But there's no wing going to come on. We've had to bring Will Dawes on because Sam Osborne's just collapsed in a heap on the floor. Just such an unfortunate situation. We just got to hope and pray that Sam Osborne isn't injured that much. Bogle Campbell, lovely stuff, holding up the ball on the outside of their box. Across to Lapsley, huge shot over the bar. Nothing to come of that one. Been a very average game for us so far. I mean, we've had more shots than I have and more on target, and we have controlled more of the possession. So we're playing our game, but it's not really coming off the way that we want it to. Jake Grant looking a little bit more tired now. It's probably going to be time to take him off as soon as this highlight is done. Ball through to Habib. Habib slots it back to McCabe and it comes off the crossbar. So fortunate for us. That could have very easily been the first goal conceded. Maybe a little bit early to have made all of our changes, but we have brought on Joe Wesley to replace Jack Connor, who was on a 6.2, and we've brought Ben Wells in to replace Grant, who was very, very tired, and we obviously don't want to tire him out too much. We want him to be fit and ready to go for the playoff games. Habib, he's through. Oh, and they've scored. Mohammed Habib puts one past us. That was absolutely terrible goalkeeping there from Miles Roberts. If his rating doesn't go down, then I don't understand the rating system, because there is no way he should have let that player run outside of him and not even have a crack at the ball. Look at that. What are you doing with your leg? Dive for the ball. You're a goalkeeper, pal. Use your hands. I'm going to demand more from the boys. This performance has just not been good enough. At least we're getting our losses out of the way now. And obviously, boys are probably quite disheartened at the fact that they've lost Ryan Osborne so early on. But we need to do better than this. 6.3 from McLean, 6.5 from Lapsley. As the captain, that's not good enough. What's the story here? Walsall with a free kick. Come on, mate. We know you've got a wonder free kick on you. Unfortunately, goalkeeper does make the save, and that is full time. Let's have a look at Sam Osborne and see how long he's out for, if at all. My fingers are crossed. Oh, dearie me. That's not good. Pulled his calf muscle. Going to be out for 3 to 5, or apparently 3 to 4 weeks with our physio. Obviously, we're going to leave him to the physio to look after, but a 3 to 4 week injury is no good. He is going to miss the playoffs, which is such a shame for him. He's had such a great season. He's been our star player probably across the course of the entire season. made 49 appearances on a 7.13 average rating, 7 Player of the Match awards, obviously breaking that record, 9 goals, 10 assists. Just what a player to lose. The only positive to this is I have just realised while having a look at his injury that Lapsley is very, very competent at right wing. So there is the option that we can obviously play Will Dawes there. And if we do need to put somebody there, Lapsley can play that role. So we'll just have 2 midfielders on the bench instead of having Hussein on the bench. Well, that was one hell of a roller coaster of emotions there. Totally ecstatic at securing promotion and relegating our local rivals on the same day. And now just completely deflated that we've lost Sam Osborne, definitely for the playoffs. Such a shame, but we'll make do with our captain, leader, legend, George Lapsley, to play on the right wing if he has to. If you've enjoyed that episode and the series so far, please do smash that like button because it does make a massive, massive difference. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for the latest FM23 content.